Okay, so welcome everyone. This is Business Analyst Training Program. Okay, I'll be your trainer for this program. I am Rahul Kumar Dubey. Now, in today's first demo, what we will try to do is we will try to understand what this training program is, how it is structured, what are the different key components of the training programs, how this training enables you in doing your job as business analyst, what will be covered as part of this training and what will not be covered as part of this training program. Okay, how your career will look like once you start working as a business analyst. So we'll be trying to go through some of the basic stuffs in our first demo just to understand this program better and just to set the expectations with this training program accordingly. Okay, so we'll try to go through what is this training. Okay, setting up expectations from this training, what topics will be covered, and duration of the course. Okay, at the end we will also touch upon your career as BA. Okay, now let's get started. So okay, so this is what our today's agenda is going to be. Okay, we'll start with know your trainer. That's a little bit of background about me. Then we will move on to prerequisites. That is, what is required from you before getting started with this particular training program. What kind of information you should have. Then we will move on to myths around BA or business analyst. Then we will look at the course content. Okay, that is what are the different topics or the areas that will be covered as part of this training program. Then what will be the tools that you are going to learn while we go through this training program. Next is the roadmap or the timelines. That is how much duration it will take and what's the tentative plan for completion of this training. Okay. Then we will look at the outcome, that is the expectations from this training program. So what you can learn, and then for getting you prepared well for doing your job as business analyst plus appearing for interviews, what would it take as part of preparation. Okay, now what type of certifications can you do after taking up this training program, and how your career growth or your career trajectory will look like once you have completed or started working as a business analyst. Okay, now let's get started and we'll understand with know your trainer first. Okay, so like I introduced myself sometime back, my name is Rahul Kumar Dubey. Now I come with 13 years of IT industry experience. Okay. So I typically started my career as a developer, wherein I was working for first couple of years as a mainframe COBOL developer, and then moved on to the business analyst role as it gained more traction or more attention over the last couple of years. Now, when I started, we were working in the waterfall model, and then gradually, as the industry was shifting towards agile, so we also learned the new concepts for agile software development and started moving over there. Now, for a brief amount of time, I also worked as a Scrum Master. So that's where I think I'll be able to help you guys gather sufficient knowledge with respect to what business analyst does in both the waterfall world and in the agile world as well. Okay, so that was about me. Now, before we move forward, what we have to understand is who is a business analyst. Okay, a business analyst is typically abbreviated as BA or often referred to as a BA. Okay, now whenever we talk about business analyst, what we generally get to the idea, and we will come back to it later, a business analyst is not a DA. DA stands for data analyst. Okay, a business analyst is a technical role. Now, many of us want to join training programs which are non-coding in nature. Now, understand technical and coding are two different things. Technical and coding are not the same thing. A business analyst is a technical role, but on technical side, it is a non-coding role. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify because sometimes when I say a business analyst is a technical role, people often get confused that technical means there will be some type of coding involved. But technical, because a business analyst is what driving you or getting you the requirements part. Okay, a business analyst is helping create the designs as well. So their role, the work they do is pretty much technical in nature, but a non-coding role. That means they are not involved in writing any code as such. Now it is up to the interest of business analyst if they want to write some code as well, or if they want to try hands-on as well. But it is a non-coding role. Okay. Now coming back, since you all are here and you must be having some questions around like what are going to be my prerequisites for this training program. Okay, what should I know before I even make up my mind of joining this training program. Okay, so to be honest with you, there is no such prerequisites for learning business analyst with respect to IT domain. Okay, so our entire focus is getting you to work as business analyst in an IT industry. Okay, it is not respect to any other industry other than IT. Okay, our focus is restricted to IT industry alone. Now, suppose if you are someone who is currently part of IT industry, maybe working as a QA, quality assurance, maybe working as a programmer or a team lead, okay, and you want to switch to business analysts. You are already part of IT industry and you want to switch to a BA profile. You can definitely do that because there is no such prerequisite as a special educational qualification that will enable you to learn this or appear for this training program. Now what I would definitely want to take a caution on, especially if you are complete freshers. Okay, so who are freshers? That have completed their graduation or post graduation, okay, with no work experience so far. So let's say this is 2024 and you are going to finish up your whatever graduation or post graduation courses in 2024, and you are looking to get started as business analyst, then your path to business analyst could be slightly different. Okay, that is, you have to, no one actually thinks about getting a business analyst at a fresher level. Or at least let me say this, that most of the companies in the IT industry, they look for experienced business analyst. Okay. Now, if you are a complete fresher who is going to complete their graduation or post graduation, then you may find it little bit challenging to land a job directly. So what we usually suggest is that you go for internship programs. Okay. So once you are done with your graduation, look for companies who are ready to hire interns who can work as business analysts, so that for the 4 to 6 months of duration you can learn about the corporate culture, how a business analyst works or typically operates, and then use your internship as an experience to apply into another companies. Okay, so if you are fresher, if anyone from the from today's audience is actually a fresher, then the path for you to get started as a business analyst may not be like restricted to 1 or 2 months of training program alone. If you are experienced candidate, then we can certainly, whatever training program we are going to cover, that will enable you to demonstrate or portray experience in the range of 2 to 3 years. Okay. Now, other than this, if you are from a different industry altogether, like KPO, BPO, and you are working there and want to switch to IT, or you have sufficient experience working as support executive and you want to switch to IT, the program is pretty much open for all. Okay. Since it's a non-coding role, there is no requirement of technical knowledge as such that I should be letting you know. The only thing is, what is truly needed is, okay, your interest towards learning the key concepts of business analyst and your commitment for next 5 to 7 weeks. Okay. So as long as you are committed for next 5 to 7 weeks, that I'll be regular in attending programs, regularly completing the assignments shared during the training program, and you are interested in pursuing business analyst course further, that is the biggest prerequisite. Now for for some of the candidates, just to clarify, this entire training program will be in English language. Okay, I'll try not to use certain difficult words, but we'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so if your expectations is is of having a training program in a regional or a local language, then just to clarify, this will be covered in English only. Okay. Moving on, but what are some of the assumptions or myths on business analyst profile? Okay. Now the first thing is need technical background. Okay. So you may not require a technical background, but understand that this is going to be a technical role. Okay. As a business analyst, you will be interacting with software developers or programmers who are actually going to write down code. And for a software developer or a programmer to write code, you yourself, you as a business analyst, need to understand what the key nuances are for building up a software. Okay, so that you can accordingly communicate information or requirements back and forth with the software developer. Okay, so you may not be requiring a coding level knowledge, but there has to be some level of technicality in in your role. Okay, now as a business analyst, you may be writing down your requirements in the form of a Word document or in the form of a PPT, or in the form of Excel sheet, or in the form of a tool that the organization is going to use. Okay, the requirements that you are going to write will be again English only. So for writing down requirements, you will use English language. For documenting requirements, you may use any of the tools like MS Office or any of the organization wide industry wide tool like Confluence. So those things are enough for you to get started as business analyst. Okay, but that is non-coding role. Okay, you don't need to uh, start your career as BA with lot of technical knowledge. When I say technical, I'm referring to coding level knowledge over here now. Okay? So you don't require coding knowledge or you don't require QA knowledge to get started as business analyst. Okay. What is truly needed from you is to get started as business analyst is your ability to keep learning new industry. Okay. As a business analyst, what is the basic expectation from us? Okay. So you meet your clients. Okay. Now this can be done in person, this can be done virtually, like how you and I are collaborating. Okay, we all are meeting over go to app. So you can also like work collaborate virtually, meet your clients in person, but the basic idea is you will meet them. Okay. So once you meet your clients, then what happens? You naturally discuss something. Okay, so what is that something that you are going to discuss? That something is, okay, what is the software that the client requires? Okay, so you are going to discuss with client what is your expectations from the software. Okay, what kind of software you want us to build. Suppose I run a local grocery shop. Okay, I or maybe I have a supermarket chain, okay, wherein I offer regular daily usage grocery items. Now I have been running this business by asking people to come to my store and then buy whatever they want to buy. Now with the rapid changes happening in the technology, maybe I want to build a website for my grocery market, supermarket. Okay, I want to take things online. Maybe I'll update, I want a software wherein I can update the inventory, that how many items I have in my grocery or supermarket, and then people can log into the website, check what all items I have available and place orders online. Once I receive orders similar to Amazon, I will start packing those items and then deliver it to the customer's address. Okay, so maybe I want to change my focus a little bit. Rather than asking people to come and do in-person shopping, maybe I'll allow them to shop online as well. Okay, so for such a requirement, I being the business owner doesn't have enough technical expertise. So I can enroll myself in a technical program, learn coding, build an application for myself, or I can hire a IT company and then delegate this work to them. Okay, so when your expectations is with meeting clients, understand from them what kind of software they want to build, document the details whatever you can from your meeting. Okay, and then pass on this documented details to your software programmers or developers. Okay, now in a nutshell, this is what the business analyst day to day responsibility looks like, or in general what a business analyst is trying to do. Okay, And then whatever software developers or programs have created software, just validate it against the requirements. Okay, just to ensure that the software developers have built the right software, that is, the software matches the expectations of the customer or the client. Okay, now in a nutshell it may look like pretty simple thing, but what happens is, I gave you an example of supermarket. Tomorrow you may be working for a banking client. Sometime later you may be working for an insurance based company. Okay, so these industries may change, and when industry change, you as business analyst will have to learn the nuances of the industry you are going to be part of. Okay, so as a business analyst, it is not that you learn the part that I have highlighted and it is done. No, you'll have to keep learning new things as per the industry that you are going to be part of. Okay, so there is no job like you learn few things and then your life is set for the entire duration. The advantage that you may get as a business analyst is you don't have to worry about learning on coding, what how to write code. You don't have to worry about coding skills, but yeah, you need to work on improving up your interpersonal skills, how you communicate with others, how you handle your clients, how you capture requirements from them, how do you ensure that you are keeping every stakeholder on the same page. Okay, any questions so far, guys? If you have any questions and if you don't want to ask now, maybe you can put in the chat box as well your questions. Okay, because in between I'll be keep checking on the chat box as well. So if I see any questions over there, I'll pick it up from there. If you want to ask your questions directly, you can unmute and ask your questions as well. Okay, so moving on, uh, well, let's look at the course content. Okay, that is, try and understand what we are going to cover as part of this course, what topics will be covered. Okay, so we have divided this course into three major parts, or eh, three sections also, you can say. The first one is for business analyst introduction. So what we are trying to do in business analyst is, since we are saying that you could belong to IT industry, you could belong to non IT industry as well. So we are putting our focus on few of the basic topics like what is SDLC. Okay, so SDLC is software development life cycle. How do IT companies are typically structured? What are the different components within IT industry? What does a business analyst typically do? What are their common roles and responsibilities? What activities they do in general, plus what activities they are carrying out on day to day basis. Okay, so what are the different types of IT companies that are available? So we cover some of the very basic stuff. So maybe for first week, our entire focus is on ensuring that everyone who joins the training program has sufficient knowledge with respect to IT industry and with respect to what a business analyst does in their role and responsibility in the IT industry. Okay, now some of it could be redundant or repetitive stuff for others who are already part of IT industry, but then this is needed to refresh your concepts as well and to ensure that people from the non IT industry also get along. Okay, Then our second section is talking about the software development life cycle in detail. Okay. So we'll be talking about waterfall methodology and the Scrum framework within Agile methodology. Okay. So we'll not be covering Agile in detail, but one of the implementations of Agile methodology is Scrum framework that is popularly used in different organizations. So next is when we talk about SDLC in detail, we'll talk about these two methodologies. Okay. So from these two methodologies, then we will cover some of the very basic stuffs. Okay. Things like how do you identify stakeholders? How do you manage your stakeholders and plot RACI metrics? How do you define roles and responsibilities for your stakeholders? What is a requirement? What are the different types of requirements? How do you gather requirements? And then what is the difference between requirement gathering and requirement elicitation? What are the different elicitation techniques? Elicitation basically means adding details. Okay. So when you talk to your stakeholders, some of the details can be shared at a very high level. For example, a stakeholder can tell you to build an application, but a client or a stakeholder will never be able to tell you what kind of security protocols should be used when you are building the application. Okay. So what all different techniques we have, what all different options or techniques, whatever you may want to call it out, we have to gather more details or to extract more information out of the stakeholders. Okay. Then we will look at what are the different types of requirement documentations available. Okay. And what is the importance of documentation. So we will look at business requirement document, functional requirement document, use case, software requirement specification in detail, wherein I'll be sharing you a template of these documents as well. Okay, how do these documents look like and what goes inside these documents. Then when it comes to agile, okay, we will not be repeating these entire things again, because whether it is waterfall or agile, okay, these are pretty much going to remain same. Now what changes when it comes to agile is what will be our focus. So the first few days when we start talking about agile will be on introducing agile to you, introducing Scrum frameworks, what are the different components of Scrum framework, what is waterfall, what is the difference between waterfall and Scrum, what are the different Scrum events like sprint planning, sprint retrospective, sprint demo or sprint review, okay, or daily stand-ups or scrums, product backlog, backlog grooming, what are the different kinds of events are there, and then what a business analyst will be doing in each of those events. Okay. Then how do we write epics and how do we write user stories? What is meant by velocity, prioritization, and story estimation techniques? Okay. Now, once we do all these things, it should help us or give us sufficient amount of knowledge with respect to with respect to what is Scrum, what are the different components of Scrum, how things work or move within Scrum, what we as business analysts will be doing in Scrum, plus how do we execute the basic responsibilities of business analyst in the Scrum model. Okay. So this knowledge will help you position yourself in the experience range of 2 to 3 years. Okay. So that you can get started. Now all these topics that we will be going through will be going through one case study or one topic that we will take during our class, and we will try to finish it from starting till end. Okay, now we may take multiple examples in between just to understand the concepts better, but we will try to do one case study during the training program, and one will be given to you as an assignment at the end of the training program, so that you can go back and revise all the concepts that we have studied. Now, for this entire duration of the course, okay, except for when we are going through introduction, because some of these introductions are relatively theoretical in nature, okay, but even during introduction as well, and specifically when we start covering waterfall and agile, there will be assignments shared with you, okay, so that you can go back and practice whatever we have studied during the class. Okay, so it's not going to be a completely theoretical sessions. During the duration of the course, we will be trying to understand the concepts with the help of one case study that we are going to pick up when the course starts, and the students will get to decide what case study to pick up. Also, we will be having assignments with respect to topics that you are expected to complete before you appear for the next class. Okay. And then towards the end, I'll give you one more case study so that you can go back and practice. Now, any questions so far?
Hi, sir. Sir, regarding projects, what projects will be covering?
So we usually will give you options within, like, whether you want to create a software for, let's say, an existing hospital network that is out there, for a famous restaurant chain that is out there, for any of the grocery shop, for insurance business, or if you have any of the project from your knowledge as well. So if you are already working as part of any industry, and maybe you want to dissect or learn how they would have created the software that you are currently using. Okay, so there is no fixed as such, but we will either I will give you few options, or you get to decide as well. Like, you can come up with your own information on what type of project you want to cover. Now, Paddy, you also asked one more question around any certification needed for BA. So there are multiple certification courses available, and I'll come back to this question when we go through the certification part. Okay. So how many years of experience can we put as BA? I told that you can put around 2 to 3 years of experience. If you are already from IT industry, you can put slightly more as well. Then Madhukar, you asked a question for BA. SQL, Excel, Power BI is mandatory. So if you are working as a data analyst, okay, then these things are mandatory. Okay, but for a business analyst who is involved in software development, okay, so we are talking about software development, these things are not mandatory.
Okay.
So Jagdeshwari, you have a question. You want to become a BA from the HR side. Yes, you can definitely become a BA, but if you have already some experience as HR, then you may have to portray that some of it is not HR but actually a BA. If you are trying to become a BA by saying that I don't have any experience as BA, then it could be slightly difficult. No one would want an HR or someone who has been HR for 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, or 5 years, and now is trying to become a BA as a complete fresher.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Harsha. I'm from banking industry and I have 7 years experience in banking, but 2 years gap. So, any certification, more certification, or any I have to work like intern in first and second years, or a direct I join to BA.
So you have gap from your education to the time
No,
you
no, no,
started your.
no, no, not education. Working gap.
Okay, so that is, see, you can either explain it either ways. So through medical reasons you had gap, you don't have to worry about gap a lot as long as you are able to justify that gap. Maybe because of medical reasons,
Marriage,
maybe because
marriage,
of, yeah, family
marriage and
priority.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is absolutely fine. But
Okay.
as long as you have experience, whether you have in banking industry or whichever industry you are part of, if you can explain to the interviewer what you were doing in that industry as business analyst. Okay. Now suppose in banking industry you may be having a different work profile altogether. But then when you go to the interview, you don't have to say that in banking industry I was the branch manager, like that. You have to maybe convince the interviewer that you worked as a business analyst. Maybe initially you started your career in non-IT portion of the bank, and then you gradually moved on to the IT portion of the bank.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Rahul, I have one question.
Yeah, Anudeep.
Yeah, like, can we go with the fake experience if we have some gap, like where when we go into the IT field, generally we put na like that. Can we go?
So yes, you can go, but you'll have to find some organization that can fulfill that gap, like that can give you some type of experience certificate or relieving letter, just to show that you actually worked in that organization.
Yeah, generally in IT field, most of the people do na. So like that, can we do that for BA also? I'm asking.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
This training program gives you that much experience that you can go and plug in gaps for 2 years, 3 years. But if it is not as much as, like, 7, 8 years, because when you showcase your experience as 7 years, 8 years, 9 years experience candidate, people start expecting other than business analyst responsibility also from you, like team management, people
Yeah.
management, work assignments. So those things are difficult to teach in a business analyst training program.
Okay. Okay.
So as long as your experience is talking about in the range of 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 years, then well and good, no issues with that.
Okay. And one more question is like, for example, I have 3 years of experience in software development. And after that, I just want to move from this development role to a business analyst role. In that case, how to convince the HR like why I want to move from development to business analyst? And one more thing is like, will that experience will be considered or not? If we move from development to BA role, will we become a fresher? Can you please explain about that?
Yes, so if you already have experience of 3 years, that too in IT industry, so usually when someone has experience of IT industry, I usually don't tell them that you become a fresher. So only your
Okay.
organization knows that your prior experience is related to development and not business analyst. Okay.
Okay.
Other than your organization and you, no one else knows that you are not a business analyst. So when you are talking within your organization, that is your maybe your manager, your TL, whoever is the decision maker. So you can tell them, and you have to do it in two ways. One of the reasons what IT industry or people tell is, you are a key person in our team, why are you planning to leave the team? So you should think of a backup, someone who can replace you, someone who can do your work, so that you can convince them that this person can take over my roles and responsibilities, I can take over something different. Now second thing, you have to demonstrate your interest as well. Okay, why you are interested in a business analyst profile. So maybe you can give reasons that business analyst profile will give me an opportunity to improve or work upon my interpersonal skills. I'll be getting to meet a lot of stakeholders and I will get to understand the industry better. As a developer or a programmer, my main focus is on building the software. When I move as business analyst, my focus will shift from building the software to understanding the industry. So my focus or my inclination is towards understanding or learning about the industry in depth, in detail, and I feel that a business analyst profile will give me that exposure to learn the industry in detail. Now if they are still not convinced, if they think that no, you should continue to work as developer only, then maybe you can try searching for job opportunities outside. Now when you are searching for job opportunities outside, I would suggest not to show entire 3 years as developer. Maybe show that first 6 months or 1 year you work as developer, and then for the past 2 years you are working as a BA for your team.
Okay. Okay, got you. Thank you.
Sure. Now, Preeta, you have a question. You're currently working as a junior Pega developer. Uh, can I use this experience later, like after 1 year that I worked as BA? How is the chance of getting a job post 1 year of experience? Now, in 1 year of experience, there may not be enough jobs, I would say. There are jobs out there, but consider that once you cross the 2 year mark, there are jobs are slightly more. So let's say if there are 5 jobs for 1 year experience candidates, there are more than 10 jobs. Now, I'm just explaining or giving an example of a number. That does not mean there are only 5 jobs, but usually for someone within 1 year of experience range, I would usually not recommend that you switch companies, but instead what you should do is, you should try, like I told Anudeep, you should try and convince your organization that you can start working as a business analyst. Stay there for 1 more year. You are close to 1 year now. Stay there for 1 more year and then start looking for jobs outside. Okay, Jagdeshwari, you have one more question. How many years of experience can we put in? So we are usually enabling you to put experience in the range of 2 to 3 or 4 years. Okay, so that means if you have total of, let's say, 10 years of experience, you are saying that I graduated in the year 2014 and it is now 2024, so I have overall 10 years of industry experience. But out of that, what I would suggest is, maybe you can say that for last 6 years, whatever you did, maybe you were an HR, maybe you were part of a BPO, maybe you were somewhere else. Okay. So for the last 2, 3 or 4 years of thing, that you can put down as business analyst. Okay. Now when you are talking about putting your experience as a business analyst, you can certainly mention about the industry that you worked in and what type of software was your focus. you have to know about these two things in detail. What was the industry you were part of, and what was the kind of software that you guys were building on. Now I assume that every industry nowadays will be working on software, whether you go into banking, healthcare sector, hospitals, health insurance, life insurance, even a regular grocery shop as well. Everyone is working on or has a software interface. Okay, so you should try and understand that software in detail plus the industry. If you do these two things, you can convince anyone in the interview that you are truly working as a business analyst. Okay, I think Saujanya, your question is similar to what Jagdeshwari asked. Or you have a different question, Saujanya?
No, Rahul, same question.
Sure.
So one question, like regarding the tool part, which you mentioned, Jira, Visio. So how in
Mhm.
the this tool will be covered?
So we'll be giving you live sessions on these tools. So I'll be opening up tools in front of you, showing you how to use these tools. And along with it, you will be getting some exercises as well for yourself to go back and perform on these tools. And for Jira, uh, it's actually a free version tool. So there is no license that you and I will have to pay for using Jira. So Jira, you can set up on your own, or usually what I do during the training program is I invite all the students of the training program to the project that I have set up, and so that they can create stories on the projects that I have set up. And once they create stories, we use those stories as sample for grooming, story point estimations, for all the topics that we have mentioned under under Scrum, that how does grooming happens. And you will be given an opportunity to open up, log into Jira, open up your story, and do the grooming and estimation from there. Now this Visio is actually not just Visio but Draw.io tool. Okay. There are multiple tools available in the market to help you create the flow charts. Okay, so Draw.io is one such tool that we are going to cover as part of this training program. Again, whatever the tools are, you will see some of the tools, for example Draw.io and Jira, that I'll covering right from the basics, like how to log into these tools, how to use these tools, to what are the different options available. For some of the things like MS Office, though I'll not be covering from the basics, but you will be seeing me using Word documents or Excel sheets. Okay, now if you have any specific questions that you have around these tools, you can ask during the class as well. Or if you want me to cover on how to use Microsoft Word, Excel, all those things, then we can do that as well. Okay, but it is my assumption that everyone in some form or the other, whether you are from IT industry or non-IT industry, you would have made use of Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. Okay, so those two are the main applications within the MS Office suite that are used predominantly by a business analyst. Okay, now moving on to timelines. From a timeline perspective, we are ideally targeting this entire course to be done in 5 weeks. But understand one point, that this is not a fixed time duration. Okay, now every batch or every student may have different speed to grasp things. So what we usually try and target is that it will be covered somewhere between 5 to 7 weeks. Okay, now assume that I have a batch running for business analyst. Okay, all the students in that batch are from IT industry. Okay, they all understand the basic nuances of IT industry. Maybe I don't have to explain them in detail, or I don't have to spend much time on the introduction part. Maybe I can fast forward things. So instead of completing that into 1 week or maybe into 7 days, I can finish up that part in 3 to 4 days because they already know a lot of things. I don't have to explain to them in detail each and every point. Maybe I can do a refresher kind of thing for them. But if there are multiple people in the batch who are from non-IT industry as well, then I'll have to spend or switch my pace accordingly. Okay. So though we are targeting it for 5 weeks, but it is not a fixed 5 week duration. We try to cover it in the range of 5 to 7 weeks. That is around 1 to 1.5 month of this training program. And as we have discussed, so we start our week one with business analyst introduction, understanding the basic concepts, and then gradually increase the BA level involvement more with stakeholder management, requirement management, flow charts, what is different type of documentations involved. Okay, then understand about agile user stories, and then week 5 is case study and preparation. So what is this preparation we will cover in the upcoming slides. Okay, so preparation is basically around two things: case study and mock interviews. Now, obviously, in order for you to appear for any kind of interview, you need two things. Okay, and that will be covered as part of this training program. One is your resume preparation. So, during the class, I will give you some of the tips on how to prepare resume, what all things should be mentioned over there, and what things you should actually definitely write. Now, all those things that we will be writing in our resume will be covered in the training program. It's not as if you will be writing some concepts which were not taught. So that way, when you are writing something in your resume, you very well understand what you have written. See, the key to cracking any interview is to ensure that you are thorough with your resume. Whatever you have written in your resume, you should know it well. And that's a key to cracking interview. So that's what we'll be doing. Whatever topics we will study, BRD, FRD, prioritization, we will be mentioning those things only in our resume as well, but those things are good enough to shortlist us for any of the interviews. Okay, now once these resume preparation is done, then we will spend few more days trying to go through some of the questions, commonly asked questions in the interview, and how are you going to answer to them. Okay, so that will be covered as part of the mock interviews. So I have a list of around 20 to 25 questions. Okay, so we'll be going through those question set and what should be the answer for those question set. Now, this mock interview preparation will also serve as a recap for your entire training program. Okay, so whatever we have studied in the training program, consider it as a recap that will be done during the mock interviews. So not only these questions will help you prepare for what we studied, but will also give you sufficient confidence as well. Okay. Now we'll come back tomorrow because I want to take few more questions if they are. So we'll come back tomorrow and set the expectations on what we are going to learn from this training program. Okay, that these are the different topics so that we are all on same page. There is no disagreement once the course starts that why are you not teaching this versus why are you not teaching that. and we will cover the remaining topics related to certifications and related to your career growth as business analyst as well. Okay, so tomorrow we will cover the three topics. One, what setting up expectations from this course, certification, and your career growth as business analyst. Okay. Now let me take up few questions before I end this discussion. So, Vamsi, you mentioned that you are currently a CA student, or you have already completed your CA course. So, Vamsi, if you are currently a CA student, or you recently completed your CA course but have zero experience, or you are currently a fresher, let me put it this way. If you are a fresher, okay, now assume that you completed CA in the year 2023. Okay, so maybe you will be considered as a fresher. So when you are a fresher, you may not find a job directly. Okay, what may happen to you is you will have to look for internship opportunities. Internship opportunities are where startup companies give you the opportunity to work, but the pay will not be very high. Maybe they will ask you to work for free, or maybe they will give you a very small salary just for namesake, like 5,000, 10,000, something like that. But that will give you exposure to business analyst work. And they will also give you an experience letter at the end of 6 months, 4 to 6 months. Now, once you are done with internship, you can use that internship to start applying for actual jobs. Okay, but if you are a complete fresher, as think that you will not get jobs directly. No company in IT industry wants to give the job of a business analyst to complete freshers. Okay, they think that someone who knows the industry, someone who has experience in the industry, they can execute the business analyst roles and responsibilities better. So they look for people who have at least some amount of experience, like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. The more experience you have, the better it will be. But organizations usually refrain from hiring any freshers directly. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Okay, I'll take the silence as no questions. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time for the second demo session. We will be covering the remaining topics. Plus, I'll be giving you a brief history on business analysts. Okay, and then day after tomorrow, we'll be meeting for our third demo session. Thank you everyone for your time. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time.